Welcome to Friends of BNSF. BNSF Railway is helping to move a collection of railroad history from Dallas to the town of Frisco in North Texas. The Museum of the American Railroad, located in Fair Park on the state fairgrounds, is building a new home in Frisco. However, to move the historic railroad cars and equipment, the museum needed a little help from a modern-day railroad.
Howdy, folks. This is Big Tex talking to you. Welcome to the State Fair of Texas.
For nearly 50 years, the Museum of the American Railroad has called Fair Park in Dallas, Texas home. Now, after collecting more than 40 cars and locomotives, the museum collection has grown too big for its 1.5-acre plot at the state fairgrounds. Now they're packing up and moving Texas railroad history farther north.
The city of Frisco saw the potential of our collection and what we could be as a cultural tourism attraction, and they offered us 12.5 acres and $1 million to seed this project and get it started.
The next decision LaPrelle made was to call BNSF Railway. Moving 3,300 feet of rolling stock that dates back as far as the 1900s requires some help, even when it's only moving 15 miles away from its current location. So LaPrelle asked if BNSF would move its collection across the Metroplex.
We are very appreciative of BNSF's support of this project. We couldn't have done it without them. There are some really good folks at BNSF. They've been a joy to work with, and every day we're thankful for them helping make this possible.
BNSF also installed a switch, giving direct access to the museum's tail track from BNSF's main line. After all the cars and locomotives are on site, LaPrelle will oversee the last two phases of the project, constructing the yard and building for the museum.
We went back and decided not to reinvent the wheel, but to just build a passenger terminal. And we consulted with a book printed in 1916 on how to build railway terminals. And it's still relevant today.
One of the more impressive cars in the collection is the 1931 M160 from one of BNSF's predecessor railroads, the Santa Fe Railway.
It's called a motor car, and they gained the nickname Doodlebug back in the day because they would see them running across the landscape. These were among the first self-propelled internal combustion-powered vehicles on the railroad. And this is a very significant piece in our collection, and it's certainly a legacy piece for BNSF. It's one of 3 that survive from the Santa Fe Railway, and this is the only one that's operational.
BNSF recognizes and respects its more than 160-year-old railroad heritage. So when organizations like the Museum of the American Railroad seek to promote the history of rail and BNSF predecessors specifically, BNSF does what it can to help preserve its heritage.
We have a long, rich history of railroading in the United States. And when we are approached by communities to help them preserve that history, we make a concentrated effort to preserve our heritage, as well as let these communities sustain what they believe is a very important and vibrant part of their history.
It's still a booming business. It's still a very relevant way of transporting goods and people. And I think it's important for people to discover their heritage. It's our country's heritage. You can't separate the history of the railroad from the history of the United States. They went hand in hand as this country developed. And I think it puts everything into context to learn about the role of the railroads and its effect on our history and our lives today.
The Museum of the American Railroad is planning to build out the museum over a period of years. In the meantime, the museum plans a graduated opening of the exhibits during the construction phase of the new facility.